Welcome back, you guys. We are doing a faith and marriage Q&A. You guys asked these questions. Well, I asked the question. You also asked questions on Instagram.
And I'm along for the ride.
And Caleb is hearing these for the first time today. Some of these questions are faith related, some of them are marriage related, and some of them are both. So I thought I would just share like what our faith is first off the bat, since that's like the lens that we're looking through when we're talking about marriage and all the things. So we are Christians. We believe in Jesus Christ. We believe that he was the Son of God. We believe that he was God. He came down to earth, lived a perfect life, sinless, and then died on the cross for our sins and took on the wrath of God so that we have access to him and to heaven. And 3 days later, he defeated death. He came from the grave, so we don't have to fear death. We can have eternal life through him. So that is like the foundation of our faith. That is the gospel. That's the good news.
And I think it's definitely important to share all that because that directs everything else in our lives.
Okay, let's dive into the questions. How to keep God at the center during an argument / Christian conflict resolution in marriage.
It's tough sometimes because sometimes you just want to. I've said this before.
What?
It's like, and then this is not the Christian thing to do.
What?
But I feel like I cuss you out in my head.
My God. Actually, same. I'll never say it out loud, but I'll think it.
Man, I just want to tell her what's up. But it's like, it wouldn't be helpful in that situation.
There are so many verses on taming the tongue, not acting out in your anger, not sinning in your anger.
Yeah.
So I think we try to do, and I think we do a good job of this just naturally. I think it's our bend, but like we're not yellers. We try not to say things that we don't mean in the moment. We don't go to each other to talk about things if we haven't thought through what we're going to say first. And I just think that is like showing self-control, patience, and kindness to your significant other.
It makes me think of James 3 where it talks about taming the tongue. Tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue's powerful, so I think when in doubt, don't say anything. Get to a more calm spot. But on the flip side of things, and I understand that this verse is true as well. Should have it memorized. I'll look it up.
Go down in your anger.
Yes, both can be true. You don't want to go to bed angry with your spouse. Have some sort of resolution, even if the resolution's like, hey, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Set a time to discuss it.
Yeah, not letting it drag on, I think, is a big thing.
That's Ephesians 4:26-27. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger and give no opportunity to the devil. I heard like a pastor share that verse. It is funny because it says be angry. Anger isn't the sin. Be angry and do not sin.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let the sun go down on your anger.
That's a good clarification. What to do if you feel like you're the main one leading in faith? My husband doesn't ever initiate / there were a lot of questions asking, how does Caleb lead you in your faith in marriage?
I mean, I feel like I could always be doing a better job. I feel like I am the primary one who like prays between the two of us for the most part. The most times we have like spiritual conversations when we are on walks or slowing down. Not in the normal pace of life. It's hard. You're not going to be able to ask your husband to lead out in that because he'll probably push back. He's got to want it on his own. I would also first ask, are you like in biblical community?
You're spot on with getting in community. You don't want to be nagging your husband to do that. Like, no one wants to be nagged.
Yeah.
Pray that God puts that desire on his heart, encouraging to get into community together, not like a guy study and a girl study, but like a co-ed one where you're around other couples. Maybe your husband just doesn't know how to lead in those ways, but then being around other married couples and other married godly men, he'll be able to see that example and maybe he'll step up.
I also think there's a big difference between if you like came to your husband and said something along the lines of like, I think you should lead more in our marriage. A husband might be thrown off by that. Saying something along the lines of, where do you see our family spiritually in 5 years from now? Now it's getting him to think, I want our kids to know the Lord and walk in his ways. Then he starts thinking about that and then come back with like, okay, how are we going to get there? Asking him that. And then like you're almost casting vision or helping him see that, I maybe haven't been living up to the man who God has called me to be. And I want to step up in these roles and areas.
Very good.
Because if you just tell him what he needs to be doing.
No one likes to be told what to do. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me. I had to figure it out on my own,
Yeah.
How do y'all structure your daily time with God, together or individually? Not together.
We do our time with God in the morning. I'm the one who was waking up at
I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to read.
5:30.
If I wake up that early, I
Yeah.
go, well, I'm reading. So
Yeah.
we do it separate.
Yeah.
How has CJ's addition to the family impacted your marriage? It feels normal.
I feel like a whole lot hasn't changed like dramatically, but I also don't know if I'm just like,
I don't think it has either. But I think we had a lot of drastic changes before CJ came. So I feel like maybe that's why it hasn't felt so crazy now that he's here. I don't know, I feel like we've been a really good team through it. I don't have any complaints about the way that you've stepped up. I don't have any complaints about any of that. I feel like we've just been a good team through it all.
I feel like we're closer probably.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're farther apart.
Okay, best advice for someone struggling with faith and trying to get back in church. I'm sorry you're struggling.
That's tough.
Really common though. We all go through seasons of struggle and doubt. The most dangerous thing for me to do is not talk to people about that.
Yeah.
I share my doubts with Caleb, with my girlfriends, with my mentors. Like, I share those with people, and I feel like the more you talk about your doubts, the less you just kind of feel how heavy they are in a way, almost. The devil wants you to stay isolated and sit in your thoughts alone. He wants to pull you from God.
Yeah.
But being in community and talking about them and searching scripture for answers through them, and like, who does God say he is? Who does God say I am? And just going back to that.
I'm pretty sure pretty much every time someone's like demon possessed in the Bible, they isolate. Probably two reasons. One, because they're kicked out of society, but also two, because they self-isolate. My suggestion to this person would be find the most godly, assuming it's a girl you know, ask her to get coffee and just tell her where you're at. And it will be so great for you. Just be 100% authentic. Where there's light, there is no dark.
What is the most challenging aspect of marriage for you so far?
Hey guys, wanted to take a quick break from the questions and just say, if any of this has been helpful, or if you'd enjoyed it, or you want to see more of this, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't, all the YouTube things. But seriously, share this with someone if you think it could be helpful for them. If you don't think it's helpful, don't share it. Just keep watching. And back to the questions. We're 4.5 years in, about. I think getting comfortable. When you were dating and engaged, I was like, I want to be the most godly man I could be. I want to honor this woman. I want to make her proud. I want to be like the superstar, perfect Christian husband. And now 4 years in, this is sin. Just being comfortable and like, I don't care what she thinks anymore. She's like stuck with me, like I don't have to do nice things to try to win her over because I already have her won. So I think the hardest part now is not falling into that trap of mediocrity. I feel like we just see that in men who just hit that cruise control, stop pursuing their wives, avoiding mediocrity.
I also think years 1, 2, and 3 for us were smooth, easy breezy. Like, we obviously had things that came up that we had to work through, but year 4 was probably our hardest once we moved to Phoenix. And I think a lot of that was like new community, being out of community, job transitions, finding out we're pregnant. Like, we just had so many life changes, which is okay, but I think learning communication through that and how we handle stress and things differently was really applicable this year. And I feel like we're coming out of like a season that was definitely harder. How did you know Caleb or Abby was the one? Did you know when you were in high school? When I first laid my eyes on Caleb Howard, I thought to myself, I'll break up with my boyfriend for that guy. I was dating another guy. And 2 weeks later, that guy broke up with me. And then I made it my mission to date Caleb. And then I remember after dating you for like a year, I was about to go to college. And my older sister and my mom said, hey, when are you going to break up with Caleb to go to college? And I said, I'm never going to break up with that guy. I don't know if there was necessarily one thing that I was like characteristic wise that I knew. I just always had this sense of like, he is totally my person. Like, I feel like we balance each other well. I love just the man that you are. I loved your character. I love your character. I just loved everything about you. And that's only continued to grow as I've seen you become a husband and a dad and a Christ follower and all these things.
That's sweet. It's so hard to say because there's never one moment.
No, we've been together so long.
Yeah.
Too.
Guy or girl. You need to make a non-negotiables list. We have both seen too many guys and girls, honestly, mostly girls, drop their standards for crappy guys. It's sad. It's sad to see like people settle. You've always shared this, but when you're dating, you're picking what you're willing to put up with. Everyone's going to have their flaws. I mean,
what is it? Because we all got baggage.
Yeah. What are you willing to put up with?
Yeah.
It's big.
Pick your problems because they only get amplified in marriage. How do you navigate financial struggles and not taking it out on your spouse, / someone asked if we believe that you should have one account in the bank together.
One bank account, 100%.
Like for us, yes, but I also can see, I think not necessarily maybe like if the one bank account thing doesn't work and you have separate, I just think you need to be totally transparent with how you're spending your money.
Well, why would you need 2 accounts?
I don't know, that's a big conflict. Like let's say we both made good money and then like I wanted to spend it a certain way and you didn't like that, or like you got frustrated. I know some people have certain separate bank accounts.
When we first got married, we would have like all the income. We had one bank account. We set every month, we had like a fun money budget. And so it kind of eliminates either spouse from like bickering on, oh, you know, we can't buy those shoes or you can't buy that purse. You were a spender. At the end of every month, that account was 0.
No, at the end of the first week, I had that money. I was like, oh, it's the first of the month, I got my fun money.
And that money would go to 0. For me, a couple months in, I had like $500 in my fun money account, and then I could spend it on whatever I wanted to spend it on, like a bigger purchase. That's a good way to keep from getting frustrated over
spending.
Yeah.
I just think no matter how you set it up, it doesn't matter. You need to be transparent with your spouse about how you spend your money. You're setting yourself up for like fights in the future. How do we deal with our financial struggles? We've had a lot in our marriage. Like we didn't take a natural route of, we both are college graduates. We didn't go and get normal jobs after college. Like we kind of did the struggle entrepreneur life. I think we handle stress and money stress differently. You definitely take on more of like the responsibility.
I'm a pretty big, I love personal finance. I love like Dave Ramsey and all of those videos. Babies up.
Whoever has like the more responsibility with the money or carries that stress more, listen to that spouse. And if your spouse is really stressed about money, come alongside them with that. Like don't shrug them off or get defensive. Like you need to help each other out when you're feeling stressed in those areas and like alleviate that stress to your spouse. Don't keep adding to it. We're just gonna do one more because CJ's awake and he needs to eat. So
is it hard not to idolize marriage over God?
Sometimes.
No. And let me clarify. I think before marriage, like during engagement, it's literally the only thing you think about. At least for me.
Oh yeah, like it's gonna be so fun. I just wanted to get married. It seems so fun.
Yeah.
It is so fun.
It's great, but all your problems are not, and like everyone says this, and I would have verbally like agreed, like I know all my problems aren't fixed when I'm married, but functionally how I was operating, thinking, and living was like, man, once we're married,
it's the finish line.
We're just going from there.
It's not the finish line. I think within marriage, not idolizing you, I know when I get really stressed about what you're doing. He's not paying attention to me. He's not showing me enough love. Like some of those things are valid sometimes, but like I know when I'm getting really stressed about that, that's when I'm idolizing you too much as my husband. And I'm not relying on God or like Jesus to fulfill certain things in my life. Like if I'm relying on you to take away my anxiety, that's a problem. And that's me idolizing you instead of going like praying and like asking God to help me with my anxiety or my worries, whatever. So I think that's like my kind of like guidepost. In marriage, I think that's how it is. Out of marriage, it was just, we really idolized marriage, which wasn't good.
Before? I feel like it probably a lot of Christians do.
Yeah.
Before marriage.
Singleness is amazing. Either way, you're in a great spot. Yeah, okay, I think that is everything.
Part 2 coming later.
Yeah, we should do a part 2. There were so many good questions.
Yeah.
You can even leave more questions in the comments if you have them because, yeah, this is like fun to talk about. It's what we're all about, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Peace.